Good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while guys, I do apologise, life has got in the way since Christmas, and as you all know by now, we lost our beautiful staffy Maya earlier this week, which totally tore us apart. So I've not really been in the mood for much of anything this week. I was off this week from work. It's not what I would call much of a holiday because I've just not felt like doing anything. I've not felt like watching movies, reading books, anything like that. But as we all know, Jay, you'll know this better than anybody, sooner or later you have to put these things behind you and try to get back to some kind of normality. And that's what this is for me. This is me trying to get things back to the way they were. So I will start. I won't say much more on it. I won't dwell on it because I've said pretty much everything I needed to say in the post. But I will say one more time a massive thank you for all the messages of support and condolences and all that kind of thing that you've been sending to me. It's been truly heartfelt. So thank you so much to all of you that took the trouble to message me. I've passed all the messages on to Rob. I let him sit and read them all, and he was really sort of upset by it all. So thanks anyway guys, much appreciated. But as I say, this is me now trying to get back to normal. So the first video that I've done since Christmas, I think, is basically me showing you all of the bits that I've acquired since probably the beginning of December. Now it looks quite a lot, but when you look at it, it's sort of 2 months worth. So I'll start as usual with the magazines very quickly. The latest Sight and Sound, which isn't the latest because there's a new one out now which I'll be ordering probably later today, but this is the films of the year from 2025. Asking the question, how many have you seen? Yeah, okay, I'll come back to that. I think this is the latest issue of Film Stories, but if Sight and Sound have got a new one out, these probably have as well, so I will be looking into that. On the cover of this is the movie Giant, which is the story of Prince Nassim, the boxer. I'm not really sure it's one that I'm up for, but if I see it on BFI Player or something like that, I will probably take a look at it. You've got an article on Neil Marshall, who directed Dog Soldiers 30 years ago. And a Moon souvenir special, the making of a soulful Brit sci-fi classic, which I watched for the first time a few weeks back and thoroughly enjoyed. Really liked it. Also articles on Ken Loach, The Godfather 2, British melodramas, Frankenstein, Stephen King movies, BBFC horror. That's going to be interesting. So I've got to have a flick through that and get that read before the next one that comes out. The latest Empire, this is February's. I get the feeling there will probably be another one due any time, so I need to get into this one because March issues will be dropping on the doorstep any time. The latest issue of Intermission, which is obviously is Talking Pictures official magazine, articles on Liz Fraser, The Lone Ranger, Daleks, The Lady in the Van, which I believe is a Maggie Smith movie, and all sorts of other bits. You've got puzzles and articles and all sorts. It's a cracking magazine, really enjoy reading that. The latest SFX, which I bought mainly on the grounds of an article on Ghostwatch, the version unseen for over 30 years. I didn't know there was another version. Also pieces on Battlefield Earth, which was Travolta's sci-fi movie, which failed miserably at the box office. Stranger Things, The War Between the Land and the Sea, bringing new life to the Sea Devils. I really need to take a look at this because I've heard very good reviews of it. And Monarch, Legacy of Monsters is back for another season. I've not seen the first one yet. And also articles on Planet of the Apes, The Strangers, Star Wars, all sorts. Oh, and a movie called Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which I believe somebody put a trailer to onto the group probably a few weeks ago, and I still need to take a look at that. There's another issue of SFX here. This is the one before the one I've just shown you. But again, you got The Land That Time Forgot. I absolutely love The Land That Time Forgot. The 70s one, obviously, not the endless number of remakes. Return to Silent Hill. Not sure how I feel about that one. I've not seen the original. I've avoided it like the plague, mostly because it's based on a computer game. And I don't really do movies about computer games, but people have told me that you don't have to have seen or even played the computer game to get the gist of this one, and apparently it is one of the better ones. So I may just take a look. Also pieces on David Lynch, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Primate, which I can't wait to see, Killer Chimps, can't go wrong. Nightmare Before Christmas, this must be the December issue. I think that's pretty much it. Tomb Raider, and also an article on Star Trek by the looks of it on there. Starfleet Academy. Not hearing good things about that. I now listen to Jonathan Ross's podcast, which he does with his daughter, Honey, and they were talking about Starfleet Academy. Ross is a huge Star Trek fan, but he did not like it one bit. He says it's got no sort of spirit of the original Star Trek or any of the sequels. So yeah, I'm a bit reluctant to take a look at that one. I've got another Empire here. I think this is going to be January, must be. Does it say on the side? No, this is March. It's already landed. I didn't know. So that's March's issue. So I will be taking a look at that in a bit. Another Doctor Who magazine. Obviously Tom Baker looking extremely old, which he would do. Well, there's all sorts in there. I shall have a read of that at some point. Guy, you will be getting all these old Doctor Who magazines, by the way. I've not thrown any of them out. Same as SFX. I'll be sorting piles of them out and either dropping them off to you or leaving them outside the door if you want to pick them up. But I will get onto that, I promise. Yours Retro. Love this magazine. This is great coffee morning magazine. Creature Features, Garbo, Roddy McDowell, Bond's Return, Star Trek, Elvis. It's just pure nostalgia. Absolutely love it. That's all the magazines. This I got for Christmas, and it slipped down the side of the sofa. And I found it the other day, and I thought, oh my God. Look at this. This is a sort of a tin sign, which I assume you put something on the back of it and stick it to your wall. But obviously it's Amity Island, based on Jaws. I might actually put that sort of behind me, so you'll see that at some point soon. There's a couple more magazines here. I didn't know there was an official 007 magazine, but there it is. I've ordered one copy. I'm thinking very seriously about subscribing to this, as there are some great articles and images in it. It's a beautiful looking thing, it really is. I mean, just give you a rough idea. There you go. It just looks really nice. And the other one is a magazine dedicated to my favourite ever Bond film, which you all know is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. This is a gorgeous book, and it is a book, it's not so much a magazine. This is pretty much everything that you would need to know, which will lead me on to that book that I've been crowing about for the last few weeks. It's just images and text and pretty much everything by the looks of it that you need to know about the making of. Am I sitting too close here? No, that's it. About the movie Our Majesty's Secret Service, so getting into that one. This is a massive book. I found this by accident on Amazon. I'm a huge Lost in Space fan, always have been, as you can see by the robot behind me. And I spotted this and thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind that. I had no idea it was going to be such a massive book. Just look at the size of that. Let me just back up a bit. There you go. And what you've got in here is artwork for every single episode of the series. So if I just go to pictures quite random, anyone will do. Look at these. I mean, there's find an episode that they've done. I mean, look at that. Wow, how beautiful are these? That one. And it, as I say, it's got artwork for every single episode, and they look stunning. What's that one? That one looks good. Where is it? I've lost it. Oh, it is. War of the Robots. I remember that episode so well. That's where the robot from Lost in Space, the B9, met Robbie the robot from Forbidden Planet. That was quite a meeting. So that's the two main books. Has the light gone again? Of course it has. Right, I'm just going to move these over here so I can actually And believe me, the last one, you're going to be astounded by her. I think you will be. Right, first one, Guy. I do listen to you. I used to love a series called I Didn't Know You Cared on the BBC. My dad used to love it, and I used to watch it with him, and used to adore it. It's very sort of last of the summer wine kind of comedy, just gentle, non-offensive comedy, set up north. And apparently there was a series of books upon which the series was based. And I had a hell of a job tracking these down for a decent price. Guy, you wouldn't believe how much these things are going for now, but there's the first one. I Didn't Know You Cared. Peter Tinniswood. I've not read any of these yet, but they're on my desk, and they're just something that I can dip into sort of any time I've got 5 minutes. So there was that one, and there's this one. Again, Peter Tinniswood, Uncle Mort's Country. I love movies and books set up north, which is why I've got such a deep love of the book and movie Kes, and many other things. So this will fit very, very nicely into my northern library, as such as it is. So I'm looking forward to getting into those. But I do take note of you, Guy, when you recommend things, as you now have seen. This one, I've got books on pretty much, let's see, the making of most of the Jaws movies. I didn't know this one existed. The shark is always there, navigating Jaws the Revenge. Now, Jaws the Revenge is the one Jaws movie that I've never actually sat down and watched. I got it on 4K, I think, or Blu-ray, fairly recently. So I do need to take a look at it, and then I will be having a read of this book, which basically gives a background to the making of it, the controversy surrounding it, why it's considered to be the worst Jaws movie, or not only just the worst Jaws movie, but one of the worst movies of all time. Michael Caine's famous quote about he's never actually seen the film, even though he was in it, but he has seen the house that it bought for his mum. So I was really amused by that. So I thought I'd grab that, seeing as it's the only Jaws movie I've not got a making of book about. So that's another one to have a read of. I watched recently a movie called, it starred Cher. What was it called? Not Life is Beautiful, the other one. I knew this had happened. I'll come back to the title of it. What was it called? I can't remember. I could bring it up now, but if I think what it is, as I'm sort of flicking through. But basically, I wanted to know more about the director, Franco Zeffirelli. I've seen a couple more of his movies sort of over the last few years or something. Really, really impressed. But the movie that I watched, the title of which I cannot remember, is basically autobiographical. And after I'd finished watching it, it was a gorgeous film, absolutely beautiful. I thought I really want to know more about the director, so looked him up, Franco Zeffirelli. So I thought I'll have a read of that. Anybody that was around in the late 70s or early 80s will remember the punk movement. And this guy, I didn't know he'd written a book. I remember he starred in The Great Rock and Roll Swindle. He also had 2 or 3 hits with a band called Tenpole Tudor. It's called The Pen is Mightier, and it's written by Edward Tudor Pole. Know nothing about him apart from the fact that I've seen him in The Rock and Roll Swindle and also the hits that he had with Tenpole Tudor. But I do love autobiographies based within the punk movement or the late 70s, sort of early 80s. So I can't wait to have a go at that. Next one. Me and a colleague were talking at work, and we were talking about old Hollywood as it was. And I said that the person that typifies sort of old Hollywood as it was for me would have been somebody like Errol Flynn. And we got talking about some of his movies, Captain Blood, my favourite, which was The Adventures of Robin Hood. And I spotted his autobiography. I didn't know he'd written one called My Wicked, Wicked Ways. Again, know nothing about him apart from the fact that he made some amazing movies in the 30s and 40s. He was also surrounded by scandal wherever he went. So I thought, yeah, I'll find out more about him. This one, The Smallest Show on Earth, Patrick Church. This is another of those local cinema books. And it's mainly about this guy, Patrick Church, was a projectionist in various different cinemas within the country, and he's obviously compiled a book of stories based around the job and the cinemas. I love reading stuff like this. It just takes me back to a better time, a happier time. But yeah, looking forward to getting into that one. This guy, Roger Ebert, the great movies. Roger Ebert was to America what Barry Norman was to the UK. Roger Ebert is the man everybody went to find out what a movie was like. So I thought it was time to find out a bit more about this guy and get some of his reviews read. I've read a couple of them. My God, he can be very cutting. He doesn't pretty much mind what he says or about who. So, but his reviews are brilliant, are absolutely brilliant. I've read probably half a dozen of these. Really, really impressed. So that's that one. I have just started watching this series. It's been around for decades. I think it's finished now. But I love this kind of comedy. This is Last of the Summer Wine, The Finest Vintage, and this is basically the story of the series, how it came about, the making of it, the locations, all of that. It's packed full of photographs. I just thought it would make a nice companion to the series, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. I'm about 3 episodes in. I've only got about 300 and something to go, but I do love it. As I said before, it's just gentle, inoffensive comedy, you know, without all the usual effing and jeffing and shagging and whatever goes on in comedy nowadays. It's stuff like The Inbetweeners. I don't know why, it just doesn't do it for me anymore. I perhaps found it funny at one time, but I just look at it now and, to be honest, it makes me cringe. But this kind of stuff to me is timeless. So, and this one, this isn't the big one, Jay, but you weren't far wrong when you said, I'll bet you any money it's something to do with old cinemas or something. This one I found again by accident. This is called Showman Sell It Hot. This is basically about all of the publicity campaigns that used to follow movies about, all the merchandise that was sort of created, you know, about certain movies. It's quite a big book, and it. Let's see if I can find something that will illustrate it. I mean, just anything really. Here you go. Poster campaigns, books, as I say, merchandise like pin badges and stuff like that. And that is what that's what this book is all about, is the publicity that surrounded the older movies. I love reading stuff like this. This is something that I can just dip into every now and then and just enjoy. This is the one you've all been waiting for. This cost me 80 quid. Now, I'm not going to try and flick this through because I've not even taken it out of the cellophane yet, but there is a little video on YouTube which I'll post, which will show you basically everything you need to know. This is as rare as hen's teeth, or it will be in a few years. Let me back up a bit. The Blofeld files. Look at that. It weighs a ton. But this is the making of the iconic Alpine sequence in the James Bond movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, if you've ever seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service, most of the movie is set in Switzerland, so it pretty much is a making of book. But this apparently, and I've not looked at it yet, I don't know why I've not taken it out of the cellophane. I was going to do a little flick through for you, but I'm not sure whether I can. But I will give it a go. But the sort of the photographs that I've seen of the contents and the videos that people have put on, flicking through it, it's just beautiful. Is it worth 80 quid? To me, yes, absolutely it is. I did and ah about it for weeks before, and then I noticed that it was limited to something like 1,000 copies, and I thought, do you know what, you're going to have to pull the trigger on this one pretty quick if you're going to do it. So I did it literally as I thought of it, and then got an email through saying, yep, it's been dispatched. This was like 10 minutes later. I thought, by God, they didn't want you backing out of that one. So yeah, the Blofeld files. This is the book that I've been on about, and if I can do a flick through of it, there's the back. At some point, I will attempt it. If you would like me to, just let me know. So that's that one. Right, on to the DVDs and Blu-rays. First one. These are all ones I've bought. USS Indianapolis. I've never seen it. Stars Nicolas Cage. This is based around the true story that was told in the movie Jaws by Robert Shaw, um, delivering the boom, the Hiroshima boom. You remember that one? So I spotted this for about £1.30, so I thought, sod it, we'll have that one. Next one. I'm not sure why I bought this one. I think it was on Film 4 not too long back, and I missed it. And I was pretty pissed off that I'd missed it because I'd meant to watch it. So I thought, you know what, I'll have a look. And yet again, it was a quid or something like that. Public Enemies, Johnny Depp, Christian Bale and Marion Cotillard. This is the story of John, what was his name? Come on, what's his name? John Dillinger is the one I'm trying to think of, fuck's sake. Yeah, and I love gangster movies, but I love gangster movies about the old style gangsters, not so much the new ones. Casino and stuff like that are all very good, but I prefer old style gangsters. That's another one that I need to have a watch of. This was recommended to me by our chef at work in the canteen. He mentioned it, and another of my colleagues said it was a really, really lovely film. But when you read the synopsis of it, you think, how can that be beautiful? But I'm assured it is. It's called Life is Beautiful. And I'm still trying to think of that other movie that reminds me of this one, even though I've not seen this. If you know what it was called, it starred Cher. Just stick it in the comments below and just jog my memory, will you? So that's another one that I really do want to watch. And again, couldn't find this anywhere for download. And it wasn't streaming anywhere as far as I could tell. So I thought I'd grab the Blu-ray of that. This was a recommendation from Mark. Not directly, but he watched this as one of his never seens, and I thought, I've never seen that either. Whiskey Galore. It's an old Ealing comedy, and I think the thing that drew me to it the most was realising that he actually enjoyed this. I mean, I never thought for a second he would take to a 1940s Ealing comedy. It didn't even sound right, but he quite enjoyed this. So I thought, you know what, that's persuadance enough for me to grab a copy. It's a DVD instead of a Blu-ray, but I'll let you know what I think of that when I've watched it. This one, I've been after this one for decades. I love, as you know, the old cinema serials, and they used to do the odd one on the Children's Film Foundation, you know, Saturday morning pictures and all this. And this was one that's been out of print for ages, but I just spotted a copy at the right time. I think it cost me about 20 quid, but I thought, if I don't grab it now, I'm going to regret it. Masters of Venus. I believe it's in 12 chapters, and I think each chapter is between 10 and 15 minutes long, which was the way with these serials, the Flash Gordon serials, all that sort of thing. But I'd not got a British one, so I copped this one while it was for the price that it was, because I've seen these going for 70, 80 quid. And I thought, if you don't get it now, you're going to regret it. So I need to take a look at that. I always enjoy this guy's films. I think he's a cracking actor. He did a series called Vicious with Derek Jacobi a few years ago, which I absolutely loved. And this is a documentary about Ian McKellen. He does a lot of Shakespearean work, a lot of period pieces, that kind of thing. I thought he was excellent in The Good Liar with Helen Mirren. So I'm looking forward to watching that. It's just a straightforward 90-minute documentary about his career and basically what he's doing now. So that's going to be worth a watch. We watched a few Saturdays ago Wish You Were Here, starring Emily Lloyd on Film 4. And I thought, do you know what? I don't know any other movies that she's been in. And apparently she's got quite the filmography. Not as many as some of the bigger stars, but quite a few. And this one really, really appealed to me. I thought, I wouldn't mind watching that. Chicago Joe and the Showgirl. It stars Kiefer Sutherland. I'm not even sure what it... Seduced by her romanticised vision of a gangster's life. Oh yeah, so basically she's taken in by this gangster type geezer during the war. I need to have a watch of it and I can let you know more when I've actually watched it. But out of all the movies that she's made, apart from Wish You Were Here, this is the one that stood out for me. So I'm going to take a look at that. This was recommended to me by a colleague at work who, told me that her and her husband watched it years and years ago, but they've never been able to find it on either DVD or sort of streaming or anything like that. And the idea sounded interesting to me, and the fact that I'd never heard of it either. This is Hyperdrive. Stars Nick Frost. Who else is in it? Does it say? Miranda Hart. I think that's it. Now, it looks very much like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I don't know until I've watched it. But they loved this series, so when I've finished watching this, I will probably give it to them and say, there you go, have another watch. So as a binnet to keep it, that's almost certainly going to be a binnet, but it'll be a binnet in the right direction. So that's that one. And also, this is going to sound weird. When we watched Wish You Were Here the other week, there is a scene set in an old cinema, and there's a movie playing. And I was really, really curious to find out what the movie was that was playing in that cinema, and I found it. It's an old Margaret Lockwood movie called Love Story. And I managed to get this for £7. This is the Margaret Lockwood collection. And on here you've got, let's see, The Wicked Lady, which I've never seen. I have seen the remake from 1983 with Faye Dunaway, which was really, really good, but I've never seen the original Margaret Lockwood version. Bank Holiday, Give Us the Moon, Highly Dangerous, The Lady Vanishes. I'd forgotten she was in that. We watched that not too long back. Is that the Hitchcock? It's got to be the Hitchcock version, hasn't it? Let's have a look. It is. So I'm one down already. So looking forward to getting into those. JK, our Ginger Ninja, watched this the other week and was actually quite impressed with it. I thought, you know what? That sounds like my kind of film. I'm going to have a go at that. Vampire Zombies from Space. I do need to get this watched because he really, really enjoyed this. It's basically one of those movies that is so bad it's good. It's one of those. And I've watched the trailer to it, and judging by the artwork on the front, I think this is going to be sort of Plan 9 from outer space type thing, which I loved. I've seen it once or twice now. And it was one of the first Super 8 movies that my dad ever bought me for this projector that he got for me. It was Plan 9 from outer space, and I thought it was going to be terrifying, and it actually wasn't. But this looks very much in spirit to that, so I'm looking forward to having a go at this. So thanks for the recommendation, Jay, much appreciated. And this one was another recommendation from Mark. He watched this the other week again as part of his Never Seen. I spotted this on Amazon, and it was also it basically part of a double bill, 2 discs, Case 39. Now Mark really enjoyed this as a horror film. He really, really enjoyed it, so I thought we'll have a go at that. It also comes with a movie called Carriers. I watched the trailer to it and that looked brilliant as well, so I thought, you know what, we'll grab the double bill. And this one, this is my final Christmas present. It arrived yesterday. Rob gave it to me. I've been waiting for this for ages. I absolutely adore this film and cannot wait to watch it again. This is The Wild Geese, but this is the special edition, Ultimate Collector's Edition. And what you get in this, I'll just run through this. This is just a beautiful set. The main thing is this gorgeous hardback book on the making of the movie, 50 Men in the Valley of the Shadow, the making of the Wild Geese by Tony Earnshaw. It is packed with gorgeous images and stories of the making of the film. There we go. Quickest flick through ever. But that is actually, that to me makes the box set worth it on its own. And then obviously you've got the insert, which is where you will find in here, you will find, best way to do this now, here we go, there you go, that's the 2 discs, which I believe one is Blu-ray and one is 4K. You've also got in the centre there the soundtrack to the movie, and then you've got on this side some art cards, which I'll just take these off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What an absolutely gorgeous set. I'm so pleased he managed to get this. I was afraid when it came to Christmas and they said they haven't got it yet. I was afraid it was going to come back with, you know, they've sold out with it being limited to, I can't remember how many it was, 1,000 or 1,500, I can't remember. But it is just the most beautiful set. There's the back, there's the front. So pleased with that. I might bang that on after I leave you, actually, because I love the Wild Geese so much. Right, three films that I've watched just recently. Quick review for you. This was only supposed to be 15 minutes. I do apologise. First one, we watched both of these. East is East and West is West. East is obviously the best. It's just timeless. Absolutely brilliant. People told me that West is West was not as good. I disagree. It was a different film, but to me it was just as good. I really, really enjoyed both of these, and it was good to catch up with both of them again. And we seem to have been going through a sort of a British movies of the 80s and 90s resurgence over the last few weeks with Wish You Were Here. I think Rita Sue and Bob 2 is probably going to appear on this at some point. The next one. This is one of my colleagues' favourite movies ever from when she was a kid. And I thought, you know what? I've never seen it. I'll give it a go. Robin Williams is in it, so it can't be that bad. Popeye. Really enjoyed this. Some of the songs are so catchy in this. And the locations and all that, it's a beautiful thing to look at. Would I watch it again? Not sure. Probably, yeah. More than likely. I just thought it was really entertaining. Nothing special. But when you think the thing is, what, 30 plus years old? Not bad. This one, my God. This was another one recommended to me. But I was warned about a certain sequence in it that I would find difficult to watch, and they weren't kidding. This is Drive, starring Ryan Gosling. Basically, he plays a guy who is a part-time stuntman on a movie set, a part-time mechanic, and he also takes on jobs of sort of getaway driver, that kind of thing. Where to start with this? For the first 45 minutes or so, it is a straightforward thriller love story, because he falls in love with his neighbour whose husband is in prison. He comes back, gets involved in a heist of which Ryan Gosling is the getaway driver, and it all kind of goes from there. The final 45 minutes is just an explosion of violence. It put me in mind of Taxi Driver, that last sort of 10 minutes of Taxi Driver, when it's just one brutal act after another. This was pretty much the same from the minute the gangsters found them in the motel and literally shot this woman's head off. I thought, shit.